Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Laguna Livin, where we talk about all things self-care and wellness. I'm your host, Stephanie. Thank you for joining me. My special guest today is George-Payette. She is a pioneer in the ethically and sustainably sourced product industry. She's also the owner and founder of Momo's CBD, and I am so grateful to have her on today. She actually came into my world a couple of years ago. She was actually a fellow vendor at a vendor event where I was selling my body butters, and she was selling her amazing CBD chocolates, which she'll talk about a little bit later. But I saw this woman and she was so fiery and full of energy. And I was like, dude, she is amazing. I have got to get her on my show. So, anyways, here we are. And let's go ahead and welcome on Mo. Hi, Mo. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? I'd love to give the listeners a little bit more background about you and how you came to be.
Yeah, like Stephanie said, we met a couple years ago and we're both peddling our wares and both have alignment as far as our vision goes. So I worked for 30 years in retail and natural product space and became obsessed with everything that hit the shelves. And I was director of purchasing and COO and CEO
Wow.
as Mother's Market and Kitchen, Mother's Market and not Chicken Kitchens chain grew. And I wanted to know the ingredients and everything. I became obsessed with going and doing facility tours so that I could get to know all the background, every single thing that went into these products. And, after 30 years in the trenches, I had started out as a veggie chef there as well. So, having covered the full realm of everything, I figured I would branch out. CBD was hot on the scene some years ago, and I helped develop that category for the chain and took myself to hemp farms. I've been a chocoholic my whole life, and particularly learning more as fair trade and ethically sourced farming practices came into play. And so I thought, well, if I could marry my two passions, which were, hey, I want people to feel good first and foremost. I want to create a feel good vibe. I'm not making any condition specific claims. I'm letting you know you're going to take a bite of this and you're going to feel as happy as the little sun that's shining there. You're
And
going
you
to
are
want,
not
I want,
lying. That is the
I want,
truth. I take one square and I'm like, all right, I can deal with this human
I
thing.
love that. That is our main goal. I just want people to feel good, take
Yeah.
the edge off, soothe the nerves.
Yes, it's amazing. Well, thank you so much for giving us like that background. I do want to get into a couple of different topics today.
Sure.
So let's talk a little bit about before we, because I do want to get into the CBD, but before we get into that, let's talk a little bit more about the importance of the sustainable and ethically sourced kind of ingredients, because that's one of the things that I focus on in my business as well. Like it's really important for me to be able to go to the lavender farm where I get my lavender and my lavender essential oil so I can see what their practices are and just know who they are as people. So I know that tomorrow they're not going to change their mind and be like, you know what, I can make a lot of money if I cut corners. You know what I mean? So let's get a
Exactly.
little bit into that.
Well, I think that what I'm very grateful for, it's been a long road towards transparency, and I think that providing you are giving your clientele, your consumers, the pure, transparent facts of I can tell you from the sourcing to the production to the processing and packaging that I am with this product all along the way. Look, this is a fast paced world. Um, Honestly, since prior to COVID and through COVID, there have been desperate times. There have been a lot
Yes,
of people trying to cut corners, as you alluded to, and I feel like we want the people who are farming to be treated fairly. We want them to have
100%.
beyond fair wages, right? And
Exactly.
we want to make sure that in that gives that integrity to your brand. And so, I know that the cacao that is sourced is directly farmed from specific in the San Martin rainforest region of Peru. These farmers work, that is their livelihood, to produce this
Right.
beautiful product. And knowing that just A, makes me feel great about providing a product, and B, just puts that much more quality into your product.
For sure. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I know that there's a great deal of benefit with the cacao,
Mhm.
as well as the CBD. So let's, again, before we get into the CBD, because I love that topic, but let's talk a little bit about the benefits of the cacao and
Sure.
why you chose to use that as your source, because there's a lot of other ways to get CBD, right?
Absolutely. I wanted to marry my two passions. I understood the struggle that a lot of farmers had in a direct trade product, in being treated fairly, and being ethically sourced, where
Yes,
and sustainably harvested, because you also want to make
exactly.
sure you're giving back to the land. So I love the beautiful properties of cacao. You have your theobromine, which is one of the superpower superfood aspects of it. You have natural magnesium, you have energizing factors that go with the cacao. And when you combine those beautiful superfood properties with that of hemp extract CBD,
Mhm.
um, and again, we have to be careful even in this day. There's still regulation and legislation. I know we'll get into that,
Yeah.
but the main process for me is I want to marry my two passions, because I know when you put them together, you come up with this gorgeous feel good product and soothing to the nerves, takes the edge off. That's it, a feel good
Exactly.
product. And I thought those two would be beautiful together.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's what I found too. Like when you take your passions and the things that you love, the things that kind of like when you start to talk about them, you get this like fire burning inside and it starts raging. Like that's how we contribute to society. And that's how we kind of fulfill our purpose. So I love that. A bit more into the CBD. So help us understand the difference because you can get CBD from hemp and marijuana, correct?
Correct.
And so tell me about kind of like the differences and which is better and why you chose hemp CBD over
Cool.
marijuana.
Well, honestly, we're talking about one big cannabis family, right?
Hmm.
There are different ways you can go. Because my focus is not dispensaries and CBD stores, so to speak, I wanted to hone in on industrial hemp. So they're like, consider them to be cousins. Oh,
Hmm.
there's a kitty in the background. I love it. I
That's
love that.
sage.
I'm coming up with a cat product soon, so I hang tight. But but that is awesome. But I wanted to make sure, and when I first launched my bars, I was using a full spectrum hemp. Now, the difference
Okay.
between full spectrum and what I'm using now is broad spectrum is
Okay.
0.3% THC. Full spectrum allows, and that is what the states that do allow CBD products will
Mhm.
allow up to 0.3%. And even in farming to this day, those hemp farmers have to make sure that they're staying within those guidelines, or their product will not be suitable for sale legally. Um,
Right. Okay.
so the other difference between the industrial hemp that I'm using and the cannabis, so to speak, where you can
Mhm.
get extract CBD from either, I have zero THC as shown in the lab tests. So
Okay.
I wanted people to get the benefits of all the cannabinoids that are in CBD, but I wanted to avoid that 0.3% because a lot of people are sensitive to it. And if you're going in for any government testing or you're getting tested for your job, there's no way that 0.3% won't show up in your tests. So
Oh,
for me, it's the safest way to go. People can be assured there's no THC in the product, and that's the avenue I took.
well, that's good. It makes it more accessible to kind of like everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about like because you see CBD everywhere. You see it's like in dropper form, it's in candy form, and it's in gas stations, it's in smoke shops, it's
Yeah.
like
Yes.
everywhere.
Yes, it
So
is.
tell me a little bit about like obviously yours is ethically sourced, it's sustainable, like you put a lot more love and care into the product, but tell me a little bit about like those and why they're good or not good or whatever.
I think everyone's different. So again, even if I were in a natural product store selling you supplements and you saw 20 kinds of versions and forms of vitamin C, what works for someone may not work for another. Some people don't like the taste of the dropper. It's kind of skunky, right? Tastes
Hmm.
like weed.
It's gross.
Some people don't want to take capsules. Some people want to enjoy it as food. I I'm a firm believer that, and it is uphill. This is not an easy avenue. April Fools will be my 5th year in business,
Okay.
and it's been nothing but uphill. And a couple of times we've had some wonderful triumphs, but to say it's an easy road, it's not. And so one size does not fit all. It's the same as if
Okay.
you're going into a dispensary and looking for, do people want to have flour? Do they want gummies? What do they want? So
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
think it's really individual preference for that.
Okay, cool. All right. So, let's talk a little bit more about the legality of it, because that I know
Well,
that's something that some people like are concerned about.
yes.
And then I know that you mentioned you've had challenges with that as well. So tell me a little bit, like, how does that work? Like in California,
Right.
everything's pretty much legal. So, but what about like
Well,
other states and stuff like that? What challenges do you
Well,
run
to
into?
be honest, it's not even state by state. It's also city or county. For
Wow.
example,
Okay.
I'm in several chains on the West Coast.
Okay.
Some of the chains in certain cities will not allow CBD edible products.
Hmm.
So some stores have actually had to remove their products. It
Wow.
the farm bill that allowed for hemp farming in more states, and also relative to its derivatives being put in products,
Hmm.
that was supposed to have all been an open door thing in 2018. We are
Okay.
still struggling, and legislation is nowhere near over. There's not one product on the market that hasn't had challenges that works with CBD. Even Colorado, which is, where a
Okay.
lot grows, or
Yeah.
Oregon, we have to be really careful. So
Wow.
I'm just doing my due diligence, trying to hope that we break through these restraints, because you have to keep in mind, and I don't mean to get on a bandwagon, but I'm riding one regularly, that um, you the benefits outweigh anything that the government could do. But because the FDA doesn't know what to do with it, they came out with one product years ago when CBD hit the market called Epidiolex. Costs
Okay.
hundreds of, very expensive
Of
product.
course.
But you have to understand, you've got your Western medicine, right? And you have all of the pharmaceuticals with all their side effects, and you get this beautiful herbal product, which is doing nothing but working with your central nervous system, trying to help soothe the nerves, trying to feed your soul. And it becomes a bit of a challenge for them to understand it.
Yeah, it's extremely challenging. Like I
Mhm.
run into that just with the skincare part
Yes.
of
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
Like I can't tell you that lavender might possibly help you with anxiety. Or
Hmm.
I can't tell you that, like I have
Yeah.
to say, or studies have shown that, or people have said that it is possible that this might happen for you. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you have to
Right.
beat around the bush so much
Hmm.
just to get out this amazing information about all of these natural things. And it's
Yes.
true, there's a lot of stuff that haven't had studies done on it, but CBD, they've been studying that for a long time.
A long
I
time.
don't think the problem with the CBD, I mean, it is the medicinal benefits, and like the whole pharmaceutical industry is probably putting their foot on that. But there's so many other benefits to hemp. Like we
Yes.
literally as a country used to grow hemp en masse. I think they actually
In
used
the
to make pharma.
1600s. In the
Yes.
1600s. And further, if you go back to China, outside of our country, it was BC. There were so many studies, few hundred BC, and there's so much. But then, prohibition hit, and on that came anything that again would be a
Hmm.
challenge to understand. And it's legislation, and it's beyond all this, because the other aspect of this is trying to understand when CBD hit fast and furious some years ago,
Hmm.
following the Farm Bill. a lot of people were using adulterated products. So they were claiming they had this and that in it. Some products didn't even have CBD. Now, a lot of small businesses have gone by the wayside. It's
Okay.
amazing that I'm still here, but I am. So there's so much more than that. And so that's why
Yeah.
I can give you another example at Expo West, the largest trade show for natural products in the world, essentially. That has gone from having dozens and dozens of CBD booths to
Mhm.
barely 2 dozen this year. I mean, I'm going to be one of just a handful.
Wow.
So it's a struggle, and
That's
you know
crazy.
it's worth it because it's
Because
battle
of the
for good,
benefits. Yeah.
and we've weeded out a lot of people who were providing adulterated products. A lot of them have come up and with cleaner products with cleaner ingredients.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Cool. So let's just dive in for the rest of the show, kind of like dive in deep into CBD a little bit more, kind of like how it works with our endocannabinoid system in our body
Yeah.
and how it benefits us.
Well, it's one of many things. A lot of times I'll do research and say, well, what else is rich in cannabinoids? Where else are we? Well, I'm obsessed with truffles. I mean the truffles, the earthy black truffles.
Yes. So
And I was just reading that they're rich in cannabinoids, which,
makes so much
so
sense.
yes. So there are a number of nutrients that you find, and what they're doing is they're working on your master nervous system, right? They are your central nervous system. They're
Mhm.
working with your brain function. They're working with your nerve receptors, which is why they're soothing to the nerves. And there are so many benefits and so many things. There are hundreds of ways to get them, and hundreds of cannabinoids out there that all represent a portion of what you find in CBD.
Okay, okay. But is CBD like a more concentrated way to get it or
Yes.
okay. So and how much CBD would one start with? I've never taken CBD before and I don't know how to do it. How would I do it?
Oh, okay. Well, so there again, I'm going to go back to there's no one shoe that fits everyone. Everyone's different. I'm really dinky, and I can handle a whole one of my bars. Well, probably because I eat them all the time. But some people it's scored in four. So some people like to start out with just one square, which is 10 milligrams.
Okay.
Um, but again, I'm not here to prescribe amounts because everyone is so different. But like you were alluding to, you've tried a square and it made you feel good
It
and
was great.
soothed.
Yeah.
And some people may want to do a couple squares. So I think the whole thing is, as with anything you're trying for the first time, you want to try small amounts and then build up, because you will build a bit of a resistance or you'll find a sweet spot. So it
Right.
really, everyone is so different. I have customers who will eat the bar, take the bar to work and have it, when they're feeling a lull or a little sluggish, because the perkiness
That's
of the
smart.
chocolate will help. But other people, my 93-year-old mom will take a square before she goes to bed, and it helps soothe
Nice.
her. But I have other customers who can't take it at night because the chocolate energizes them. So
Yeah.
everyone is so different. And so I think, the thing to do is start with small amounts,
Okay.
um, and see how you do. Usually there's a suggested amount if you're doing it in a bottle. If you're doing mine, I always suggest start with a square and just try it. I also have a different delivery system. I do have gummies now.
Oh,
Um,
fun.
yes, and my whole line is
Oh,
vegan.
that's what I was
So
gonna say. Yep.
yeah,
And they're
whole line's
vegan.
vegan and organic ingredients, so you can trust what's in the product, which is beautiful. I also added in my blissful gummies, I added magnesium glycinate. So when
Mm,
you're adding a little magnesium, you're adding that nerve soothing. A lot of people don't get
nice.
enough magnesium.
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
everybody is so nutrient deficient.
yeah,
So
yeah,
this
for
is
sure,
amazing.
definitely.
So, okay, so I'm almost out of bars, so I need to get more. And I have to say, my favorite flavors are the raspberry.
Oh, vanilla
That
raspberry.
one was really good. And then
Nice.
peanut butter. The peanut butter
Uh,
is my favorite too. But then also, guys, I got to give a shout out to this lip balm. I
Oh,
cannot live without this lip balm. It is so amazing. And
so
it's
cool.
funny because like I do body care products and stuff too, right? So I have like my own lip balms and stuff that I make, but I can't live without this. This is so amazing.
Yeah,
It smells so yummy and my lips are so soft and moisturized, but it is so good, Mo.
wonderful.
I love your products. They're
Thank you so much. And that's the deep moisturizing. So you alluded to the whole because you do body care.
yes.
And actually we should team up and do something
Heck
because
yeah.
I really feel like when you're ingesting it, that's one thing, but when you're putting it topically, that's a deep moisturizing product and very simple ingredients, fairly traded coconut oil and
Yep.
CBD, but it helps soothe topically. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Thank
It's
you.
good stuff.
I love it.
Okay, cool. So if you could kind of leave everyone a gem of information, what would that be, Mo?
Okay, a gem of info. Um, I would say, it with all the stresses and in this day where we're all on a hamster wheel and just trying to make ends meet, if you can do one thing for yourself as part of your self-care journey, I would love for people to try to take a bite of bliss. I want people to feel good. That's why I'm doing this. Yes, I take my own product, but because I want to share the bliss. So anyone who's watching this, if you got on my website, momocbd.com, and you used the code vegan bliss, I'll give you 30% off of your order. So that's my gem
Nice.
to you. I want to share the
Ooh,
bliss.
nice. I'll be using that gem. I need it. Good. So, okay, so you gave us our website. Is there any other contact information or ways to reach you, places that people need to
Um,
check you out?
Yeah, at Momo CBD on Instagram, we do a lot of fun things. Lately, we've been doing a lot of recipes. I have influencers who will find me or content creators, and they'll provide recipes. So check us out on Momo CBD on Instagram. I don't do that much on Facebook because here again we have the challenge of the challenge of censorship. It's everywhere. It's still happening. So Instagram is a place to find us if you're not on our website.
Nice, nice. Well, awesome. Mo, thank you so much. This has been amazing. I really appreciate it. Like I said, like I just one day I aspire to be like you.
Oh my God.
But
Well,
definitely let's definitely collaborate because
okay,
I'd love to do something with you. So I'll
great.
reach out.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Well,
Thank
thank
you
you so
so
much for
much.
having me.
All right. Thank
Bye.
you so much. Thank you all for listening to this episode of Laguna Lily Living. I'm really grateful for you to be listening to my YouTube channel. If you could, please make sure you subscribe below, like, share. It would be really, really appreciated. You know how the algorithm likes it. And we really want to get all of this good information out to everyone else. So sending you much love from me to you and reminding you to practice some self-care every day.